Hunter Biden looks to scheme his way out of paying more than $1 million in taxes. His daddy wants to make sure everyone else pays their fair share to sustain Social Security.
Trump also recently said about Social Security and Medicare. He said, quote, I'm quoting, "There's a lot you can do in terms of cutting, tremendous amount of things you can do. I have a better idea. I'll protect Social Security and Medicare. I'm going to make sure the wealthy begin to pay their fair share of taxes."
Joining us now, FreedomWorks chief economist and Committee to Unleash Prosperity co-founder Steve Moore. The wealthy do pay. They pay almost half of the federal income taxes, Steve. Yeah. But the left loves to talk about, including Bernie Sanders, the gimmies. But they never talk about how you pay for it all. And we need to look at Europe, don't we? Because everybody pays, including a vast value-added tax. That's the story they never tell.
Well, let me just clarify. I think everybody understands this, but I want to say it again because I've talked to the president about this, that is President Trump. What he was saying in that quote that Biden was reciting is that there's massive amounts of fraud, waste, mispayments in the Medicare and Medicaid system that can add up to $100 billion or more. And Trump is saying, as a businessman, why don't we get rid of that waste and shore up the system? He's not talking about cutting anyone's benefits, Dagan. He's talking about going after the insurance companies that are ripping off the system, the hospitals, the fraudulent doctor claims, all of these things. Every report has shown that these programs are getting ripped off, and the Biden administration does nothing about it. And that's actually an insult to America's seniors. You know the numbers, by the way, on the taxes, Dagan. I mean, we've talked about this so many times. I think the White House knows these numbers, too, but they just won't recite them, that the top 1% pay almost half of the income tax today. Businesses are paying record amounts of taxes. And if you increase the taxes on the businesses, you know what's going to happen. If you increase tax on a grocery store, guess what's going to happen to the prices at the grocery store? They're going to go up. How does that solve the problem?
Right. But Steve, the money they're talking about, we're going to go after, rich people to pay their fair share. It's going to save Social Security. It's also going to end homelessness. It's also going to end hunger. It's going to,
exactly.
Provide,
right.
pre-K education. Like, this is what they use for everything. Right. The problem we have here, though, is Joe Biden's talking about a 25% on those who have $100 million of assets or more. So it's not income, it's assets. And a lot of these business owners is tied up in their business, in property, in equipment,
yes.
in buildings, equities, inventory. So this is never going to work. And you're going to destroy American businesses with a 25% tax on assets, not income.
Well, try explaining that. I mean, you're exactly right in everything that you just said. The problem, of course, Sean, is that with a guy in the White House and most of the people working around him have never even worked for a business. They've never run a business. They've never met a payroll. I mean, this is a big problem. Joe Biden in 40 years has basically just been in politics his whole life. So what you just said, that doesn't register with him. He doesn't know what investment it is. He doesn't know what it is to make a payroll. He doesn't know how hard it is to make a profit. And I found a little angry. I am a little angry. I mean, come on. For him to be lecturing businesses when he's never done it himself. Now, by the way, Donald Trump has run a business. That was one of his virtues as a president. He does know how businesses operate. But if you want to slit the throats of our businesses, you start taxing them on their unrealized capital gains, you're going to destroy investment in this country.
It's obviously no secret, Steve, that Social Security is facing a funding crisis. It runs out of money in 10 years, will be insolvent, then there's an immediate 25% across the board cut. Even BlackRock's Larry Fink says that the 65-year-old retirement age is outdated and needs to change, calling it, quote, a bit crazy in a letter to shareholders. But of course, Larry Fink is also humping a new investment product that's got an insurance wrapper around it. So how do you see this?
Well, I'm not going to comment on Larry Fink's suggestion. I mean, a lot of people have been suggesting raising the retirement age for Social Security. I'm not so sure that's really very fair to people who've worked, since, look, I've been paying Social Security since I was 18 years old and was mowing lawns, and I pay 12% of my paycheck every month for the last, 35, 40 years, and now, I get to retirement and say, oh, no, you're not going to be able to retire when you thought you were. I mean, I think we should we need to really convert Social Security into more of like a 401k plan where you put the money into the system and it accumulates. See, people don't understand that the reason we have a shortfall in Social Security is Congress has been raiding the system. Sean, you know that. You were in Congress. They've raided the system to pay for all these other programs.
Yeah, but Steve, if you raise the retirement age for those in the next generation that are further away from the retirement, they know the deal they're going to get. They can save and plan for that deal. You can't take it away from people who are in retirement or near retirement. But for the next generation, they don't even think they're going to get Social Security. So it's a deal they'd probably gladly take. But let's move on to this, because Bidenomics, it's not landing very well with voters. New Fox News polling shows more than half of voters say they're worse off than they were 4 years ago. The economy certainly isn't Scranton Joe's strong suit. Out of a list of key issues, voters said nothing was his top accomplishment, meaning Joe Biden. Contrast that with Donald Trump. The same folks say that the economy was a strong suit for Trump. But don't tell that to the liberal media, Steve. They've been laying the groundwork for weeks, claiming Americans who view Trump favorably, they have amnesia. Now, listen, Steve, if we're talking about something that happened in the Reagan era, that's one thing. This was only 4 years ago that we had the Trump economy, and people remember, like, I had some more money, I had more opportunity. I like Trump. This is garbage what I have under under Joe Biden.
Yeah, I just looked at the top 20 economic statistics, everything from mortgage rates to the cost of gasoline and food and, employment, all of the statistics that matter to people, how much income they're bringing home after inflation. Almost out of those 20, 18 out of the 20, Trump performs better on those statistics than does Biden. So people are saying they're better off under Trump because they are better off under Trump. And the average family today, when you take account of inflation, is actually poorer today than when Biden came into office. How is that an economic success?
It's a great strategy. Don't believe your lying eyes, American voters. Believe us in the liberal media. I'm sure that's going to go over really well. Steve Moore, always great to see you. Thanks for being with us. We appreciate it.
And I just want to thank you, Steve. I just want to point out this amnesia. This was the New York Times, Vanity Fair, and the Washington Post, the Trump amnesia. That is a straight talking point right out of the Biden campaign.
Surprise, surprise.
They pick it up and put it in a headline. Again, soulless clatterbags, the lot of them, whether on liberal TV media or in print.
Call them hacks.